Hi, guys, and welcome back to Spark Notes. You guys, we're in San Diego. I'm recording this in my little studio, if you're watching on YouTube, in San Diego. I have sat down to record this episode on about 3 different occasions today, and I feel like the words just aren't coming to me. I feel like I'm tripping over myself. I can't form a coherent thought, but it's super important for me to push through and get this done because more than anything, this is an audio diary for myself or my future self to look back on and really remember what I'm processing in this exact moment because this last week has been huge for me. It's been huge. I feel like at the beginning of every episode, I'm like, where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? But I'm going to say that today because, again, it's been a wild week. You guys, I left home. Finally, I started this journey. I can't believe it. I'm sitting here. It's Christmas Day. It's just about 5 p.m. I'm drinking a glass of non-alcoholic champagne. I just got back from my third walk with Archie. We've had a super chill day here. And I want to get into it. What's been going on the last week? How did travel go? What has this been like? So let's start from the top. I left Saturday morning, probably around 6 a.m. And last week was weird, like getting ready to go. I think I told you guys on last week's Spark Notes, I'm feeling kind of just like numb. I don't feel like I'm really feeling anything. As the week progressed last week, that feeling kind of remained the same. But Thursday and Friday, the last 2 days that I was home before I left, I was extremely sad. I had a lot of goodbyes over the span of those 2 days, saying goodbye to friends, family, my gym, my park. There was just a lot of goodbyes, and I was really sad those 2 days. And Saturday morning came, you guys. I just remember walking Archie Friday night before going to bed, being like, I'm waking up tomorrow morning and I'm going to walk him, of course. And we're getting in my car and we're leaving. And I don't know when we'll be back. It's hard to wrap my brain around that. Woke up Saturday morning and the car was pretty much packed. I had a few last items to pack up. I took Archie to the park in the pitch dark just to get a little bit of exercise before we were on the road. And I said goodbye to my mom. Like, it was super quick. By the time I woke up to the time I got out the door, it was probably an hour. Saying goodbye to my mom was really emotional and hard. And I got in the car and I was crying. I got a giant Starbucks and I cried the entire way through Portland. But once I was on the other side of Portland, like 20, 25 minutes into my drive, I wasn't sad anymore. I was excited. And of course, I still rode a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions over the next 2 days, which I'll talk about. But for the most part, you guys, I haven't been sad. I was anticipating and expecting that the 2 days that I was driving, I would just be grieving the entire time, that I would be an emotional wreck, that I would be processing so much. I waited over the last 2 days for that to happen, and it never did. So I got out of Portland and I put on Taylor Swift because that's my latest obsession. And hold on. You guys are probably going to hear a lot of planes because we're right near the airport. I'm staying in Little Italy, so just a forewarning that airplanes may be a bit of a distraction in the background. But I got out of Portland, turned on Taylor Swift, and we just cruised. The first day, the drive went so well. It was my bigger drive day out of the two. It was about 9.5 hours of drive time, but with having to stop to care for Archie and whatnot, we were on the road for about 11.5 hours on Saturday. We left the house around 6 a.m. We got to my girlfriend's, and she's about 30 minutes out of Sacramento, around 5:30 p.m. Archie did so good. Like, I cannot even begin to explain how much relief that brought me. I've never done a big car ride like that with him before. He loves the car, but he gets bored very easily. He's looking at me right now. And I'll show you guys if you're watching on YouTube. He's chilling. He's getting comfy. But he did so good. I'm just so proud and so grateful. And I really, truly feel like this may sound corny, but I feel like God just made sure that that wasn't like an extra stressor for me because there was so much responsibility on my plate. It really was a big feat to get myself from Portland with all my belongings to San Diego safely. I'm driving by myself and I'm caring for a dog in the process. That's a big thing. I don't think I realized how big it was until I was like on the road doing it, you know? So Archie was good. And I got to my girlfriend's, but let me backtrack. As the sun started to set that day, I had been feeling good all day. I'd just been feeling excited. As the sun started to set, I did start to feel a little bit nervous and scared and just feeling like, what did I get myself into? like I want to go home. That was how I was feeling. I felt nervous. I think it was the realization of the permanency of this decision, that I don't know when I'll be home. I don't have the safety and comfortability and security of my house anymore. Just those thoughts of what did I get myself into a little bit, But I got to my girlfriend's and she just welcomed Archie and I exactly as we were. He was a bit of a train wreck. He was nervous when we were in her house just because it was a new place, people she's never met. She has young children. I was a bit of a wreck and she just met us where we were at. She cooked us dinner. Truly just went above and beyond. Had her whole guest room set up for me, had a Christmas present in there for me, had a little sign even welcoming Archie and I. She really just went out of her way to make Archie and I feel comfortable and welcomed in her home. And that meant so much to me. So much to me. I can't even begin to explain. And she just understood. She left home at a much younger age than I'm doing it now and just reminded me that this is a part of the process. These are growing pains. The feelings will subside. And I went to bed feeling so much more at peace. And I'm so glad that I went there instead of going into a hotel and just ruminating on my thoughts and feeling lonely in a hotel room. And I really feel like it's symbolic of what's ahead for me. I think I said it on last week's episode, but really that whole experience going to my girlfriend's house was so beautiful. We didn't sleep well though, because Archie didn't want to sleep in her guest room. And he's trying to protect me in the best way that he knows how. And he's in a house with people he doesn't know. And he's barking. He's not really a barker, but he's barking at noises. And it just was stressful. So we didn't sleep very much. But we got up the next day and we're out the door by 7. We had about 6.5 hours to go yesterday, which was Sunday. Archie was a bit more restless yesterday, so that caused me a bit more stress because I just felt like I was a little bit more worried about him. But we did it. We got it done. For most of the ride, he just chilled and was really good. And again, I just felt excited. I didn't feel all this grief or anything. I thought I was going to record a Spark Notes episode while I was driving because I would be processing so much, but I really didn't. I just cruised along and listened to music, and I listened to some podcasts, and I had 3 different people making me playlists. So I had a lot of different music to listen to. And I don't know, I kind of just enjoyed the drive. Nothing crazy happened. And so, yeah, we got here yesterday. It was right before 4 and I got completely unpacked. I ordered groceries. I took Archie on a walk. We found this park that's a 10-minute walk from us. And we got out into nature immediately. I came back here. I got fully unpacked and settled. I mean, everything's in its spot here. I took a shower. I felt disgusting after being in the car for 2 days. I washed my hair. Groceries got delivered. I meal prepped, so I had healthy food on hand. I was craving a meal. And I watched a movie. And I went to bed last night just being like, okay, we're here. I can finally exhale. I can take a deep breath. But last night as I was here, and even today, it's just like, this doesn't feel real. What reality am I living? It's like my body and my brain are still trying to catch up to the fact that this is my new reality for at least 30 days. And then it's going to be a different reality somewhere else. I'm going to be constantly adjusting, constantly changing and adapting. And this morning I woke up and I had my warm lemon water with sea salt. I did my gua sha. I did my face mask. I made a protein shake. I made my coffee here because I brought all of my stuff. I had healthy food already meal prepped, just ground beef, rice, and beans. And I ate that today. My body was craving to get back to the things that make me feel good. I took Archie to the beach this morning and we actually ended up going on 3 walks total today, just getting outside, kind of exploring our neighborhood and just taking it really low key. I can feel that my body needs to rest today. Something that I was thinking about last night though, as I was laying in bed at night at 8 p.m. watching a movie, I was like, how am I still awake after 2 days of just exhausting driving, traveling, all the things, not even just physically, but mentally and emotionally. The mental load of getting that trip organized and executing it was a lot for me, because again, I'm caring for myself and a high energy dog. And I drank caffeine the last 2 days, and I haven't had much caffeine really in the last 7-ish months. I quit cold turkey when I came home from Greece, but when I was in Mexico, I had like I think 2 coffees when I was down in Mexico. So for the most part, I've been caffeine free for the last 7 months. And the reason I decided to quit drinking caffeine was really just this realization that I'm doing all these things for my nervous system to help regulate my nervous system, to help myself be healthy. And caffeine agitated me sometimes. And I really started to question, why do I still drink it? I get plenty of sleep. I take care of my body. Why am I drinking caffeine? If I'm a healthy individual, I shouldn't be drinking caffeine every day. If I'm taking care of myself in the way that I shouldn't be drinking caffeine every day. So I gave it up and I felt amazing. My sleep has been better. My energy levels are more stable. Yeah. And I've just been drinking decaf coffee and a ton of tea, and I've really never felt better. But when I was driving the last 2 days, I was like, okay, I'm going to drink caffeine because this is like a one-off situation and whatever. First day I had a coffee in the morning. I did half calf at Starbucks. So it's half caffeine, half decaf. And then I got a white Monster in the afternoon. I felt great. It allowed me to drive. I didn't have any anxiety or anything from it, which I thought could have come up just because my body's not used to caffeine, but it just allowed me to stay more awake while I was driving. And then yesterday, because I didn't sleep well at night, I ended up having two Monsters, you guys. 400 milligrams of caffeine in one day when I haven't had caffeine in months. I had one in the morning-ish and one in the afternoon. And I got so much done yesterday. I was a machine yesterday. And it was a beautiful thing because today I woke up feeling very settled. But as I laid in bed last night, I realized caffeine is a drug. Caffeine is a drug. And I'm so glad I do not put that in my body on a daily basis anymore. Can it be used in unique situations to really help benefit me? Yes. Yesterday and the day before was a prime example. But just like anything else, it can be abused. And it's so normalized. The dependency, that like, oh, we can't do anything without our coffee. I'm grumpy until I have my coffee. Just like with alcohol, the overconsumption and the dependency on caffeine are normalized. So we don't think anything of it. But if we're getting enough sleep and we're fueling our bodies properly and we're taking care of our bodies, why are we consuming caffeine every day? Again, there could be one-off situations. There might be days where you don't get as much sleep. Or you have something going on. Okay, use caffeine then. Why are we drinking it every single day? Because we're addicted to it. Because we know what it feels like when you don't drink caffeine. We are addicted to caffeine. That was my realization. It's a drug. And it kind of freaked me out yesterday to think about how I used to consume large quantities of caffeine on a daily basis. I realized yesterday what it actually does to my system. It kind of freaked me out, and it made me just so grateful that I've given up caffeine. Again, I'm not here to say caffeine can't be helpful, but I want us to start questioning, why are we drinking it every single day? It's a stimulant, basically. Do you need it? Or do you just need to get more sleep? Or do you just need to take care of your body in a better way? Do you need caffeine every single day? I want you to actually sit with that. And I'm not here to shame you or try and convince anybody to quit drinking caffeine. If you keep drinking caffeine, you do you. I'm not here to judge you. But I'm curious. Why are we drinking it every single day? I thought about that as I was in the Starbucks drive-thru Saturday morning, how it's so normal to have the lines at Starbucks be wrapped around the block at all hours of the day. We are addicted to caffeine. And I think in a big way, it's because a lot of us are doing way more than we're designed to do, caring for kids, working. We have so much on our plate. But I don't know. I was a machine yesterday, and it was because of the caffeine. I'm sure some of the energy was coming from the excitement, but it was because of this drug, basically, that I put into my body. And I cannot believe I used to put that drug into my body every single day. And my dependency built up so much that I needed it. And I didn't get basically zoomies like I did yesterday because my body was so much more used to it. So that was something I was really thinking about last night. And then as I got, settled after a super long 2 days, the first thing I did was cook myself normal food. And my body was just craving food, normal food, foods that I eat. I have been eating pretty much the same thing every single day for the most part for the last probably 5 to 6 months. I eat the same breakfast every single day. I make a protein shake. It's not just a protein shake. I also have like frozen berries, peanut butter, oats. It's like a full meal. I have had that for breakfast for probably 8, 9 months. I make myself a coffee. I have my warm lemon water in the morning with sea salt. That's the first thing I consume. My coffee, I put my heavy whipping cream. I froth it all up. It's my favorite. For lunch, I always eat jasmine rice cooked in bone broth, ground turkey or beef, and a bunch of beans. And I've been eating the same thing for months and months. These planes are just crazy. And I got in last night and I was like, I need to eat that. Like, it's been 2 days of me just snacking and me not really eating the meals that I'm used to. So I had ordered grocery delivery, and yeah, at the tail end of like 2 crazy busy days, I took time to cook myself normal food because that is what my body was asking for. And I honor what my body is asking for. And it really had me thinking, again, these are the things that are coming up for me, things that I'm processing as I go through this process. Really had me thinking about how grateful I am to have the relationship with food that I have now. I didn't once stress over the last 2 days about the fact that I was eating snacks. I ate chicken nuggets one day from McDonald's. Like, I don't ever eat fast food, maybe once a year. But I had to eat something on the road and I wanted something hot. I didn't want a snack. And I ate chicken nuggets. And I didn't have any anxiety or stress or guilt about it. Like, not even a fraction of a thought that made me feel guilty for consuming something like that. I packed some snacks for the road and I had a lot of healthy options. I had fruit, I had string cheese, I had granola bars, nuts, and I also had a bunch of licorice and fruit snacks and like candy or like snacks that are just like treats. One day I was craving Flaming Hot Cheetos and I got Flaming Hot Cheetos. And I'm not here to say you should eat junk food all the time. I'm not here to be like promote junk food. I'm just saying when I'm road tripping, I want to have snacks. And I did. And I didn't give a shit about it. And I never once thought about it at all in any other way than I want this and I'm going to have it. And my old self just could not do that. My old self couldn't eat foods like that in moderation. My old self couldn't eat foods like that without a lot of guilt. My old self couldn't eat foods like that without then looking at my body in the mirror the next day to see if it changed. Not even kidding you. Literally would look at my body in the mirror the next day to be like, do I look different? Did I get fat, basically? My old self spent so much of my emotional energy and my brain power on worrying about food and worrying about being skinny. That's ultimately what it was. And I spent 2 days and I didn't eat well. I didn't drink nearly enough water. But I got here yesterday and I got right back into the things that make me feel good. Right back into them. I got a bunch of water in. I cooked myself a home cooked meal. Today I was right back into my habits with what I was eating. Into my normal stuff. I still had a couple cookies because my girlfriend made me fresh cookies. Not stressing. Not thinking about these things. Because my energy is now just spent on other things. And what it comes down to is my relationship with food and my attachment to my body size used to govern my entire life. That's really what it is. It used to govern my entire life. I thought about it all of the time. The fear of not being in a body size that I deemed to be attractive, it consumed my life. A huge amount of my energy each day for many years went into thinking about the food that I was putting into my body, tracking, measuring, controlling. And to me, I realized that the reason that I was doing that was because I was still so desperately needing male validation and attention. I was trying to fit within societal beauty standards so desperately because I felt like if I didn't fit within that beauty standard, I wouldn't be viewed as attractive. Why do I need to be viewed as attractive? Because I obviously felt like I needed that male validation and attention. So I spent years waking up and going and checking my body in the mirror every morning. I spent years stepping on the scale and allowing that to dictate how I felt. I spent years worrying constantly about my food, measuring things like cutting up an apple and putting an apple on the scale to make sure it wasn't too many grams or ounces, or to like track the weight of my apple accordingly. I would weigh things like broccoli. When in the history of the world has somebody overate broccoli? It's dense and full of fiber. Why would I need to measure that out? Why don't I just eat enough broccoli that feels good for my body? I was so worried about not being skinny that I would measure my broccoli. I would put it on a scale and then put it in a little app. This is how much broccoli I'm eating. Fucking bonkers when I think about it now. And so sad. And so sad. And I know there are some people out there that have like that be their lifestyle and they're athletes. But if you're not an athlete, why are you doing that? It's not your job. We can take all that energy and instead focus into things that bring us purpose and passion and joy, or create some kind of good for the world. But instead, so many of us women are wasting away years of our life just putting our mental energy into being skinny, saying no to events because we feel like we look too fat. So as I got here last night, I guess it is home, I thought, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful I don't live that life anymore. It's a prison. It's a prison. And one that I am so grateful I broke out of. The only way for me to break out of that, though, was to give up all control and find my way back to my body and my intuition and my hunger cues. Find my way back to my body, come home to my body. I just don't believe you can come home to your body and find your way back to your body if you're tracking your food in an app and allowing an app to tell you what you should or shouldn't be eating each day. You should be showing your body that you trust her to tell you how much you should be eating each day. Because we ebb and flow. We're human beings. We are not robots. As a female alone, the amount of hormonal changes we go through in in our cycle, usually 28 days, that impacts how much food our body is going to be asking for. We are not robots. And that year after giving up tracking and giving up control, my weight fluctuated a lot. That was something that felt uncomfortable for me, but I had to get through it. And I was just at this point in my journey where I was like, I don't give a shit anymore if I gain 100 pounds. I need the mental freedom. I need the mental freedom. I'm so tired of worrying about fitting my food into my macros. I'm so tired of waking up in the morning and thinking about what I'm going to eat for the day because I have the whole day planned out because I need to make sure I don't eat over my macros. And it feels crazy for me to say this because I know that I helped a lot of you learn how to track macros. Yeah. That's something that still feels weird for me too. But there was a time period I did believe in them deeply. And I think as I started to feel in my body that it didn't feel good for me anymore, I didn't want to come to terms with that. Because at that point, then I had a business in the world, helping you guys do the same thing. So I think it took me a long time to come to terms with where I was actually feeling that push and pull of like, maybe this isn't right for me. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore. So that was a long ramble, but I sat here in so much gratitude last night. So much gratitude. I don't think that I've really dove into too much about my relationship with food and just the journey that's been. So I think I want to do a separate episode on that soon because I think it impacts so many of us. I think it probably impacts more I think it's the thing that probably impacts us more than anything else because we have to eat. And we also live in a society that puts a lot of pressure on us to look a certain way. So I think a lot of us women struggle with food. And it's also an emotional coping mechanism for a lot of us. And it's been very normalized for it to be an emotional tool or something to cope with when we're feeling emotional. And there's a lot of shame around if you struggle with eating, if you struggle with food. And it's just like any other topic. We don't talk about it as much because that shame makes us feel like we're alone or we will be judged. And so it kind of continues to perpetuate the problem. So I really want to dive into that soon. Maybe I'll sit down and do that this week so we can have that out next week. But I want to start talking about that a little bit more. And it's something that I don't take for granted on a daily basis, having a healed relationship with food. And I say healed. I don't know if things ever like heal fully. I think it's something that could always be re-triggered, but it's really been since this last year, probably. I would say probably I really started to feel something click around March of this year. It's really like something clicked within me, something changed within me. The way that I view food is just so different than how I used to view food. And I think it comes down to my relationship with myself has changed so much. I think my relationship with myself was fractured, and it presented itself through my relationship with food big time because I was so insecure and I so desperately needed validation and approval from others that I was willing to do anything I needed to do to fit within a certain box or really to be a certain size. And I got to a certain place in my healing journey where I just was like, I don't need that anymore. My relationship with myself is healing. I don't need validation from others because I validate myself now. I don't need society to tell me that I'm beautiful because I think I'm beautiful. And I think I'm beautiful the way that I'm built. And if I'm built with a little bit extra skin on me, I'm good with that because I think I'm strong. I take care of my body. I respect her. I honor her. I think she's beautiful. I don't need validation from anybody else. And when that within me healed itself, it really healed my relationship with food in the process. Because, I had been giving myself full permission for a year at that point to just eat what I needed to eat. But it was like all those pieces came together. And when I wasn't restricting myself anymore, the desire to binge went away. When nothing is off limits, and you can have anything you want whenever you want, the desire to binge went away from me. And it did come from a year of probably eating a bit more than I normally do. But that was okay. I was trying to like recalibrate and find my way back to my hunger cues and everything. It's not like they come back right away. It's a journey of coming back home to your body, but you have to first show her that you trust her. You have to show her that you trust her. I trust her to tell me what she needs, and I trust her to tell me when she's full. And I'm listening to her. So if you've been out of touch with her for 5 years, overnight, you're not going to get right back in touch with those cues. It's a process of rebuilding trust with yourself. But it's worth it, you guys. And it comes down to, I got to a point where I just had to release the control around what my body was going to look like. Wherever she lands, I'm going to love her and accept her. I knew that. Wherever she lands, whatever size she is, I'm going to love her and I'm going to accept her. You got to let go of that control. And then when you do that, though, it's freedom on the other side. It's freedom. And if you just do things and implement habits that make you feel good, everything kind of balances itself out anyways. The goal is to feel good and to be healthy. The goal is not to be skinny or to be a certain size. So anyways, that was a long ramble, but that's something I really was thinking about last night too. And Another thing that was coming up for me was I've really been thinking about, what is this journey about? What is this journey about? Obviously, this journey is about self-discovery. Who is Lana, independent of the place that I grew up, my friends, my family, the religious organization that I was brought up in? Who am I away from all that? Who am I as an independent human being? The purpose of this is to go out and experience different ways of life, different environments, to meet different people, to explore, to adventure, to help me kind of figure out who I am and what I want. How do I know where I want to live if I've only lived one place my entire life? How do I know what I really value in my environment if I've only ever lived in one environment? What different kinds of people are there out there? That's a big part of this process, obviously. Doing it alone. Anytime I've solo traveled, even if I'm only gone for 10 days, I come back a different person. No matter what the length of this journey is, even if it ended up only being for a few months, for whatever reason, I know it's going to change me. It's large amounts of time alone, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, showing yourself what you're capable of. You change. So yeah, that's a huge component of this journey. Absolutely. But something I've been sitting on is, I think another big component of this journey is for me to fully understand the lesson that I find safety within my body, not from other people, not from certain places, not from things, not from specific environments. I find safety within myself, within my own body. I think this is what this journey is going to teach me. I have so much safety and connectedness with my own body, within my own body. It doesn't matter where I'm at. It doesn't matter who I'm around. It doesn't matter where I'm living. I feel safe within myself. That's what this journey is going to teach me. How to constantly self-soothe, self-regulate, come back into my body, come back into my senses, and find that safety within myself. And when you know that you have safety within yourself and you don't need anything else, and you're completely detached from people, places, things, experiences, controls, I think that's when you become completely untouchable. Think of all of the behavior patterns in my life that I've struggled with or that have had a big impact on my life. My attachment to other people, my codependencies, my anxious attachments. That's because I'm trying to find safety in a relationship or from somebody else, not from within myself. My need to control my environment, my OCD about my house being spotless and clean and white and blah, blah, blah. That's because I didn't have much control in my environment growing up. And so as an adult, I controlled everything in my environment. I grew up in a very chaotic household and I didn't like it. I wanted things to be organized and orderly and clean and peaceful. So I'm trying to find safety in my control, in my environment. But these are coping mechanisms. My codependency, my need for control. It's me trying to find safety in these other things. If I just control this one thing, if I can control it enough, then I'll be safe. But that's not true. The key is to be detached from everything. And when I say detached, it doesn't mean that you don't care. It's just recognizing that you don't need any of this, though. No matter what happens, you're good on your own. You're secure, you're safe, you're deeply rooted. That's what this journey is also going to teach me. And that is going to change my life. That is going to change my life, you guys. It's going to absolutely change my life. I feel like the energy of this recording is kind of low. I don't know if you guys can feel that too. I just feel energetically kind of low today, and I obviously understand why. I just did something major. I left behind everything I know and own, and I'm now in San Diego in a brand new little apartment after 2 very exhausting days of driving and caring for Archie, and also just taking on like his emotional stress from this process and worrying. I can feel the tension in my body, and I rested all day today. And I still don't feel fully rested. And I'm going to see how I feel in the morning. I really want to just dive back into things, but I might need another day of rest tomorrow. I can just feel the tension and stress in my body. And even when I napped earlier, it's like I could feel that my body was holding that tension. Like I fully couldn't just relax and soften. It's how I used to operate all the time, just wound up and tight. Like you could feel it if you touched my back. I used to just operate in a place of tension. And I don't operate there anymore. I operate much more open and much more relaxed. So when I get myself back into this kind of worked up state, I can feel it. And it takes a little bit for my body to like loosen and let go and release. So I just feel like my energy is a little bit low in this recording, but I felt like it was still important to kind of dive into things and talk about things because I don't only ever want to get on here when I'm like riding the high. I told myself when I sat on that balcony in Greece this summer that by the end of this year, I was going to do something different with my life. I was going to make a big fucking move. Like I was done playing it small. I sat on that balcony, that rooftop patio in Greece, and I was like, I can have anything I want. I'm capable. Stop waiting. And here I am, December 25th, before the end of the year. Here I am. But I need to allow myself to also rest and recuperate. So this is it. This is just the beginning, you guys. I don't know what's ahead. I don't even know what tomorrow is going to look like. I don't know how this is all going to work out. But I took a risk. I took a giant fucking risk. And I believe it's going to pan out for me. I believe it. And I can't believe I'm here. I've been talking about this for months. I can't believe this morning I spent my Christmas morning at the beach. And I went out and grounded today and it wasn't freezing cold or wet. I can't believe I walked Archie to go potty now in shorts and a t-shirt. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm sitting here talking to you guys being like, I'm in San Diego. Myself, even this time last year, would have been like, what? What's going to happen next year? What am I going to be doing next Christmas? Who fucking knows? But we are ready for the ride. We are so ready. So the energy is a little bit low today. That's just where I'm at, It's not like taking these risks, making these changes. They don't drain me a little bit, I felt like I had to like work up all of the bravery and courage I had to get out the door on Saturday morning. And now I'm just like resting and recuperating from that drive more than anything. And also the build up to leaving. I think I'm resting, like recovering from that a little bit too. I'm not bouncing off the walls as I sit here on Christmas Day, but I feel excitement within me and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful I got here safely. I'm so excited and I'm also exhausted, I'm also exhausted. Let's see. I felt like I had a couple other things I wanted to unpack, but I also feel slightly brain dead. Oh, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. So I posted this on my Instagram story and I'm going to read it for you. It's actually from the Instagram account, The Angry Therapist. But I thought it was so beautiful and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Here's what no one wants to hear. Breakups are a natural, normal part of life. They are unavoidable occurrences like puberty and crooked teeth. If you choose to love in this world, you will go through one, most likely many. And it may be hard to hear right now, but you're meant to go through what you're going through because nothing will transform you more than the healing of a broken heart. It creates the richest soil for growth. Many see their breakup as a horrific life event, a car accident that leaves you crippled, a sudden unexpected death of a loved one you don't think you can live without. Wrongfully accused and terminated at your dream career you've worked your entire life for. Yes, it may feel that way, but it's not truth. Breakups are a rite of passage. Under the pain are dots you will be able to connect later, when the emotional dust settles and you will have new lenses and clarity. Through this journey, you will build a healthier version of yourself, what it takes to give yourself a new love experience. And it's in this new experience where bodies are rewired, traumas worked through, false beliefs dissolved, the self is better understood, and new definitions and standards created. All this contributes to our evolution. Our breakups is actually how we grow. Okay, so why I want to talk about that was because you guys know in last week's episode, I was saying how much I was struggling just kind of dealing with, I would say, a heartbreak, honestly. I know it wasn't like a super long, serious relationship that I was in, but it did break my heart a little bit, I think. And I think what broke my heart more than anything was having things end so poorly, you know? To like lose that respect and everything at the end. That kind of broke my heart a little bit because I just had higher expectations for us, for that relationship. So last week it was weighing on me. Like it's still something I've been thinking about, you know? And it was weird because as I was getting ready to leave last week, I was wanting him to reach out. And so we could have a conversation before I left. I wanted that so badly. Like every single day last week, I was checking my phone. I'm not even kidding you. And he actually did reach out early last week, but he never apologized. He sent me some photos of us he had developed on his film camera, and that was it, and said, I finally got my film developed. No apology or anything, so he still wasn't deserving of a response on my end at that point. I felt like it was very immature of him to just send me a text as if things were good when he disrespected me now on multiple occasions. Like that just feels very toxic, and I don't do toxic. I don't play games. And as much as I wanted to respond and say that, I'm like, my silence communicates exactly where I'm at. When you can approach me with a place of care and respect, that's a different story. Until then, I would be disrespecting myself if I took the time to even give you my energy to respond. Now, did I think all week long, I hope he reaches out and says sorry so we can talk about things? Yeah. My heart still wants that. But I've never navigated the ending of a relationship in this way where my self-respect has come first and foremost. And I realize there's not a response he could give me. There's not a single response he could give me that would feel better than me maintaining my self-respect. And I'm learning about myself so much in this process. Healing a broken heart really does change a lot. And especially when you navigate it from a place of putting yourself first and respecting yourself first, even when it goes against everything that you want to do. You want to reach out, you want to make connection, you want to try and control the situation, you want to get closure. I want those things. My current self wants those things. But my future self knows what's best for me in this moment and in the future is to maintain my self-respect and not give my time and attention to somebody who doesn't treat me with respect and care, you know? Showing myself that I can do that, you guys, it's rewiring something in my brain. So that post just resonated with me so much. Leaving was sad. I was sad that we never got to have that conversation before I left. You know, now when will we ever be able to have a conversation in person? Who knows? Maybe, probably never. Probably never. So that's something I was really thinking about on my drive, is just how much navigating this heartbreak has been such a learning lesson for me. And again, I think that's why I'm doing it. I think that's why the universe is walking me through this, and also having it end the way that it did, because having to maintain your boundaries and your self-respect and all that when somebody is hurting you is like a whole different ballgame than when things are just going smooth, you know? It was a test. It was a big test. So many airplanes here. So that's kind of where I'm at, you guys. I feel just like, what? I'm here? Oh my God. Am I blacked out right now? Am I numb? What is happening? Who knows? Who knows, you guys? But we're going to end it there because I feel like this is not going to get any more productive. If you made it through this painful episode, then thank you for sticking with me and riding this roller coaster with me. Hopefully next week's episode, I'll bring a bit more energy. And I hope you all are having a Merry, Merry Christmas. We will chat soon. Good night, guys.